mindsets this morning? Did anybody pray that today? Now, God, I'm setting my mind that even if I have to patiently suffer, I'm going to still please you. I did, and I'm sure some of you did, but I've only learned to do that by studying scriptures like this. I know that I have to have my mindset because it's very possible that before this day is over, something is going to happen that I don't like. And if I don't have the right mindset, I could just, get in the flesh and just start acting ugly real quick. You know, no matter how saved you are, you can still act ugly real quick. I know that old man's dead, but I tell you, he can have a quick resurrection if we don't keep him under. Has anybody noticed that? How he can come back to life really quick if you don't keep him under. Got to keep him under. And you got to have a right mindset, and that mindset is I can stay happy even if I don't get my way all day. How many years did I wake up in the morning and think, well, this is what I want to happen, and boy, if it doesn't, I'm going to be upset. And if Dave doesn't do this, I'm going to be upset. And if those kids don't do this, I'm going to be upset. Well, I already had myself talked into a fit before I ever got out of bed. Do you ever do that? Lay in bed in the morning and just talk yourself into a frenzy in your own mind before you ever even put your feet on the floor? Well, what if you would just take 5 minutes in the morning and lay there and say, you know, God, I hope this day is really great and everything goes my way. But if it's not, I'm setting my mind right now to stay saved, to walk in the fruit of the Spirit. And I don't know what you're going to ask me to do. We never know, really. I think one of the things that's great about a walk with God is if you're really going to do it God's way, it's an adventure. I'm talking an adventure because you never know on any given day what God may ask you to do or what He may ask you not to do. Amen?
Both men and women judge each other the same way they do when you go buy a car. Men, you got to realize this. When you walk up to a sister on the street and ask for a phone number or email address, women run credit checks on you. The same way they do when you go buy cars. But this is not a FICO score. This is a relationship credit score. Your FICO score could be 780. Your relationship score could be 325. Okay? So when you walk off, a woman, she's going to run your name through 3 of her girlfriends the same way they run your credit through 3 credit bureaus. She'll call that first girlfriend. She's like, hey, girl, you know a guy named Mike, bald head, cute, live in Harlem, work for UPS? Oh, yeah, girl, I know Mike. He real nice, got a good job, no kids, very friendly. He's nice. Call him back. That's a good credit score. Now, just like when you go buy a car, there could be something showing up on the other bureau that's not showing up on this bureau right here. She called that next girlfriend. She got a completely different score. Girl, you know a guy named Mike, cute, bald head, dark skin, lives in Harlem, works at UPS. Talking about crazy Mike, stalker Mike. Mike, he got a baby from Renee. Do not call him back, girl. He's a fool.
Mike, he got a baby from Renee.
You'll talk. Now, ladies, y'all was laughing when I gave y'all how men think, how women think. Now, this is how men think. Understand this, ladies. Men put women in categories the same way we do cars.
Oh, you shouldn't be telling all that.
I'm telling you. Okay. Ladies, do y'all want to know this, ladies?
It's not on the interview, man.
See, the Holy Spirit is leading me to educate.
You can't be giving this stuff away, man.
I'm telling you, ladies. I'm telling you. Listen to Uncle Ock, okay? Men put women in categories the same way they do cars. And see, and what category he puts you in depends on how you play yourself. So you have to ask yourself, are you a Kia or are you a Mercedes? Turn to your neighbors, ladies, and ask, are you a Kia or are you a Mercedes? And some of y'all are like, don't call me no Kia. I ain't no Kia. I don't play that. But this is how this works. Okay, understand this right here. A Mercedes is a nice, fine, luxury automobile. You keep up all of your maintenance. You put only the best gas in your Mercedes. You don't park your Mercedes anywhere. You don't let just anybody drive your Mercedes. A Kia is a nice car, very nice car, but it has different requirements. Good credit, bad credit, no problems. Bankruptcies, repos, no problems. This weekend, no money down, everybody rides. Now, Now, ladies, especially, understand this, ladies. Listen to me. I'm talking to believers here. If you letting a brother drive the car, but he don't own the car, now you're in the category of a rental car. Oh. And we all know how we treat rental cars. Drive them hard, put just enough gas in it, and drop it right back off where you got it from. But here's the deal, though. What you really want to be is in a whole other category, because remember, your price is far above Ruby's. You want to be in the category of a Bentley, or a Rolls Royce, or a Lamborghini, or a Maybach. This is a fine luxury class of automobiles. If you can't afford this automobile, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with this automobile. It just means that you need to come back later on once you get your stuff together. Amen. And remember this, particularly to my young ladies, particularly when you're getting dressed, Bentleys and Rolls Royce don't advertise. That's right. So.
But first, Dave, explain to us how you got to where you are today.
Well, we started off like a lot of people, doing pretty well, and then we started doing even better and better and better. And gosh, by the time I was 26, I was a millionaire. I had over $1 million net worth. I was making a couple of $100,000 a year, but I had done stupid. I had borrowed too much money, and we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned. We were sued and foreclosed on, and so there I sat with a brand new baby, a toddler, and a wife who was ready to kill me.
Yeah.
And we were broke and bankrupt and had to start completely over, starting at 28 years old. Wow. And at the bottom of that mess, I decided I was going to learn how money really works, not what someone's theory is, not what your broke brother-in-law thinks, but you know, what really does work. And so I started talking to old rich people and people that had money and kept it. I had been young and rich. I didn't want his opinion. And so I found common sense. And when I started applying that to my life, dad blame if it didn't work.
Yeah, so you actually know that this plan works that we're going to tell people about today.
Well, absolutely. Not only have we personally worked it, my wife Sharon and I, over the last 15 or 20 years and proven that it works, but we've worked with literally millions of families around America, walking them out of debt. And one of the things we discovered was that the money piece is so overwhelming. You don't know where to start. Do we start with retirement? Do we start with college? You know, do we start getting out of debt? What about that emergency fund? And when you get too many things going at one time, have you ever noticed that nothing happens? And so we broke it down into one little step at a time, to where, gosh, that way I can chew it. I have to have it in smaller bites.
Yeah.
It seems so overwhelming when you take it all on at once, and so you're right, taking these baby steps, and that's part of your plan. You call it the baby steps, right?
Exactly. We came up with 7 steps, and over the years of 20 years of financial counseling, thousands and thousands of families, we found that that if they'll follow these steps, and we've adjusted them and polished them, and you know, about I guess 10 years ago, we really settled in on this and have just driven it home with so many folks. The first step is quickly get $1,000 in the bank, a little starter beginner emergency fund. It's just kind of Murphy repellent. You know, it just keeps all the bad stuff away because there's a little money to keep him away. And then we're going to work on our debts, everything but the house. Baby step 2 is list your debts smallest to largest, pay minimum payments on everything but the little one, and attack that little one with a vengeance. And work your way right down through that. Because when you pay off that little one, you get this little attaboy or attagirl. Yes, I'm winning.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you knock the next one off, and then the next one off, and then the next one off. And by the time you get towards the bottom of this and you're paying on your big car debt or your student loan, man, you're fired up because you're winning for the first time in your life with money. And so a lot of this is behavior modification as much as it is mathematics. So once we're debt-free, and most people can't even imagine doing that,
right,
debt-free but the house, then we move on to baby step 3, and we go back to our little $1,000 account, and we raise it up to a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses.
That really seems overwhelming, 3 to 6 months, when you really put pen to paper and you think, gosh, I've got to save that much money?
Now, when you start talking about 10 or 15,000 bucks I'm going to have in savings just for emergencies, oh my gosh! But think about how you would feel like this last economic problem we've gone through. If you had no payments and $10,000 or $15,000 sitting in the bank.
Yes.
Wow, that's peace. That's financial peace. 2 words that don't go together, like airline service. You know, so you know, it's worth the trouble. And you know what? You can save that much if you don't have a car payment. If you don't have a student loan that's been around so long you think it's a pet. If you got rid of MasterCard and discovered bondage and American Distress and all these people, right? So suddenly you got money because you're not giving it all to the bank, and it really happens in about 6 months from the time people are debt-free, and it takes them about 2 years to become debt-free usually, that they can build up that emergency fund. Then that brings us to baby steps 4, 5, and 6, which we do at the same time. Baby step 4 is putting 15% of our income into retirement. which we can do because we don't have any payments but a house.
Right.
Baby step 5 is now we're going to save for the kids' college, which we can do now that we don't have any payments but a house. And baby step 6 is all the extra money we get thrown at us from bonuses or inheritance or anything that happens, we throw it at the house. And people are paying off their homes using this plan in an average of about 7 years from the time we start this.
Which is awesome. That saves you so much in interest. Okay, I have a question, though, about baby steps 4 and 5. You say, and I've actually heard you speak before, but invest in your retirement before you invest in your kids' college plan. Kind of explain that.
Well, I got to tell you, most of the time when I say that to moms, they go, "Ah, I'll kill you." You're telling me, "Do not put my children before me." That's not very noble. I mean, these are women who will wear the drapes so their kids can have $200 sneakers, and so, but it is noble because here's what's going to happen: 100% of the time you are going to retire if you don't die. Not 100% of the people go to college, and only 56% of the people that do go to college graduate. Now that's kind of weird. So we got to think about this. Yes, we want to brainwash our kids to go to school. We want to teach them education's important. Why? Because it is, and we need to prepare for that. But we've got to be doing the retirement, and we're only putting 15% of our income into retirement. We're not putting 30%. Okay. We're not loading up retirement and not doing anything to college. But we're going to do healthy retirement and then start on the kids' college. Plus, I'll bet you guys are like me. When I was in college, my parents made me do this evil thing called work.
You're right. You're right.
And that didn't hurt me, and it didn't hurt you either, and it won't hurt our kids.
That's true. That is true. Okay, and the last baby step is?
Baby step 7, because when your house is paid off, retirement's done, college is done, there's no debt, there's an emergency fund, there's nothing left to do but become very wealthy and give, 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 give. The most fun you'll ever have with money in your life is be a giver. Go to Waffle House on Christmas Day and leave a $200 tip. Have a blast.
It is so much fun. If your hands are out giving, you can receive more too. So